Okay, so which brings me to my main point. The 49ers should trade for A.J. Brown. That's who I want them to get. The Eagles want 1 first-round pick and something. They're not going to get 2 firsts for A.J. Brown. What did they trade for A.J. Brown? Eagles trade for A.J. Brown. What did they give up? Well, AI is telling me that they want a first-round pick and a second-round sweetener. Okay, so that's where we're starting. They want a first and a second. Would you trade a first and a third for him? I would. A first and Ronaldo Green for him? I would. Would they want a first and Ricky Pearsall for him? I kind of like the idea of Ricky and A.J. Brown because I feel like A.J. Brown is a super Jawan Jennings. He's bigger than Jawan Jennings. He's stronger than Jawan Jennings. All the things Jawan is good at, catching the ball over the middle, having people bounce off him, he can do that. The dig routes, the out routes, the go-to guy on third down. That's A.J. Brown. But at the same time, he gives you a little bit more juice after the catch. He's a bigger play. And again, what I like about bringing in A.J. Brown, it's the big trade. It's the Christian McCaffrey trade. It's the Trent Williams trade. You need a new go-to guy on your offense. It's not Christian anymore. It's never been George Kittle. George has never been the primary weapon on the Niners offense, maybe because he gets hurt. Maybe because he's blocking so much, but he's always been secondary. He hasn't led the Niners in targets, since 2019? Even in 2024, Jawan Jennings led the team in targets. Am I wrong? They need someone who can actually handle 16 games, 17 games, 150 targets. That's A.J. Brown. He's 28 years old. He's not even 2 months older than Max Crosby. If you were interested in the Niners adding Max Crosby, why would you not want him to add A.J. Brown? Is he super fast? No. But your quarterback is Brock Purdy. It doesn't make any sense to sign Alec Pierce. He's a bad fit with Brock Purdy. Better fit with Mac Jones. But every quarterback fits with A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown would be a lot better with Brock Purdy than he was with freaking Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts throws, what does he throw? Stop routes and go routes? Stop routes and go routes. That's what he throws. Now A.J. Brown can go back to doing what he did in Tennessee, which is running the full route tree and getting a ton of targets. The Niners need him to produce. Remember when they traded for Anquan Bolden? This guy is way better than Anquan Bolden. How old was Anquan Bolden? Was he 34 at the time? Anquan Bolden was freaking 33 when the Niners traded for him. And they got him for like a 6th-round pick. It was almost like a brother-to-brother thing between the Harbaughs. That was one of the best trades in Niners franchise history. They need to trade more. Trade for proven freaking players. You suck at drafting. Hello, McFly. You could never trade. Brandon Ayuk was never as good as A.J. Brown. Deebo Samuel was never as good as A.J. Brown. You've never drafted a wide receiver as good as A.J. Brown. You could have. You could have literally drafted A.J. Brown, but you took Javon. No, who'd you take? Deebo. You took Deebo over him, and you know what? Deebo was great for a few years, and he really fit your offense, and you did fun things with him. But where's Deebo now? You better not bring Deebo back, is what I'm trying to say. A.J. Brown would make the Niners offense so much better. And look, if they had a really good GM and they could draft, I would say, no, don't sign A.J. Brown. He's expensive. He's almost, 29. Don't do that. You're already the oldest team in the league. You don't need to bring in someone else who's pushing 30. But guess what? The reason you're the oldest team in the league is because you can't freaking draft. And instead of trying to hope that you can make this 22% jumper, that's your success rate in round 1, man, just trade the freaking pick for A.J. Brown. A first and a third for A.J. Brown. I would do it. That's a guy that the Seahawks would have to actually match up with. He could overpower Devin Witherspoon. He could overpower Trent McDuffie. He's a great player. He could have his best years on the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan drawing it up and Brock Purdy throwing the ball or Mac Jones. I guarantee you the Niners aren't going to draft anyone as good as A.J. Brown in this draft. Not this year, not any year. And he seems to me like the kind of guy who could be good into his mid-30s. He's big. He's like T.O. T.O. was good into his mid-30s. Or get a new GM. Or get a new freaking GM and let someone else draft the freaking players. Silky Smooth Smithers says, I would trade Bosa, CMC, and Juice for Brian Burns, Malik Neighbors, and a second-round pick. Why would the Giants want that, dude? Yeah. Let me get 30-year-old Christian McCaffrey. Let me get Bosa off his third ACL. Now, Niners are stuck with those guys. You're not getting Brian Burns and Malik Neighbors. You're not getting young talent like that. You're getting A.J. Brown. And you know what? They're not going to trade for A.J. Brown. Well, you know it. They're going to sign Romeo Doubs. And people are going to tell you that it was a smart move. Why get an A.J. Brown when you can get Romeo freaking Doubs? Let me tell you something. As someone who had Romeo Doubs on his fantasy team last year, every single time I had him in my lineup, I regretted it. Every single time. Hey, and it's always like, oh, well, he's the number one option. He said, no, he's going to get targets, right? He's going to get targets. Boom. 50 yards, no touchdowns. 3 catches. He's like Khalil Shakir, man. I swear. They are considered number one targets, but like, I'd love to see what happens to Romeo Doubs next. He's so mediocre. And he wears that Guardian cap, which is, I probably would wear that too if I were a football player, because I'm not a football player. And the sport seems so brutal and terrifying. But like, it's a terrible look, man. For that alone, I don't know. You really want to give $30 million guaranteed to a guy who's got the bobblehead on his head? I don't know. Maybe he should. Maybe, but I think there's enough reason not to sign him right there. Okay, guys, I don't have much more to say. They haven't signed Trent Williams yet. I just really wanted to do a 36-minute stream urging them not to sign Alec Pierce. They don't have to trade for A.J. Brown, but just don't get Alec Pierce. Pierce and Pearsall? It's not about race, but do you really want to be the only team in the history of NFL, or since 1953, to have 2 starting wide receivers? And you know what? We're in a post-race society right now. I'm a white guy. If I had played football, maybe I would have been a wide receiver. And I admire the Pierces and the Pearsalls of the world, but 2 with the all-white running back room, 2? Really? Come on. And I support my white, athletes. Represent. But they got enough representation on this team. Overly represented. I just don't think you can have Pierce and Pearsall. Or maybe you can. Maybe that's what they need to do. Just embrace it. Pierce and Pearsall. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Bring in Edelman, Amendola. I don't think you guys like the A.J. Brown idea. I'm looking through. Hell no. Seriously, go get a GM and a coach.